Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. So today we're just going to work on potting these two cuttings in here. There's two cuttings in this same container. They've been in there, I don't know, 4 or 5 months maybe. I planted them sometime this past summer, and we're in December now, so it's probably been at least 4 months, probably 5. But we'll take a look at them and see what kind of roots we've got. They put on some decent growth up here. They didn't have much green on them when I potted them, so hopefully we've got some roots. They're not quite coming out of the bottom yet, so hopefully we've got enough. But if we get into it and see that there's not really enough there, we'll just kind of see how it goes. So for this little one over here, I think I'll put it in one of these plastic grow pots that I've got. I think we'll save this bonsai training pot for the other one. So we'll see how best to attack this. Gonna put this lid up here to catch some of the soil. So what I do, I just squeeze the sides just to loosen everything up a little bit. Even though the soil I use doesn't really compact a lot, it's just akadama and black lava rock. So once it's loose, we'll kind of tip it up, give the trees a little tug, and they should come right out. Yeah. So it looks like we do have some decent roots in there. Not a lot, but I think it'll be enough to work with. So try to separate them. I don't normally like to put two cuttings in the same pot because I don't like the roots to get tangled up to where you run the risk of damaging them when you're trying to separate them. But these aren't too bad. There's a drainage screen in there. We'll try to get that out without disturbing too many roots. Like I said, when I planted these were, I do some water propagating, but these were just propagated in this soil here. So you can see these roots have grown over the last 4 or 5 months. Might have to cut some of these because they're pretty intertwined in this drainage screen. I didn't really know that I was going to work on these today. Probably should have waited because I watered these yesterday, so things are a little bit damp. I usually like to let them dry out a bit more before I repot, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, let's see if I can cut this a little bit. I think we might have to cut some of these roots off. Let's see. We lost a few, just that little piece there. These came out okay. So I think we'll set that one aside. We'll work on this other little one. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to disturb those much at all. I think I'll just drop them right into the pot. That's got a decent shape on it. Trunk's got a little bit of texture on it already. Like I said, this was a cutting off of an older tree, so it's got a little bit of nice texture on it already. That's good. So I'll set this aside for now. Like I said, we'll put this one in here. Get some soil out. Like I said earlier, the soil I use is for just about everything. Sometimes I'll use a different mix on my newer. If I grow some things from seed, I planted some desert rose earlier this summer from seed, and I put those in more of a, it's got a little bit of organic material in it. I put perlite, coconut coir, and what else do I put in there? Some turfus is kind of what I use for some of my seedling mixes, but most everything else I just use the akadama and lava. It seems to work out well for me. So I've got the soil up about half. And I think I've mentioned this in a couple other repotting videos. When I'm potting these cuttings, since they tend to be a little top heavy and they don't have a huge root structure to hold the tree in, I'll pot them a little bit deeper than I normally would, just so I can have some soil around the trunk to provide some stability. Just pack it in there with my finger for now. You can use the chopstick too, just to make sure you don't have any air pockets. Make sure the soil gets all around the roots. I'll put a little bit more soil in there. Sometimes if it's a little unstable, which this one kind of is, I'll put a couple rocks in there just to get it a little more stable, but I'm going to trim some of this top growth off for now, which will get rid of some of the weight, which will help. Not really doing major shaping on this. I'm just taking some of these shoots back just so it'll ramify. They'll split off and branches will divide. Just give me a little more to work with in the future. I'm not expecting this to really look like much of a tree at this point. Just like I said, just taking some of the weight off the top. Early stages, trying to get it to ramify a little bit, and then go from there. That one's good, so we'll set this aside. And this one, I think we're going to try to get in here without, hopefully I won't have to use wire. It's not a whole lot to wire in anyway. Let me go grab a couple rocks. Okay, I'm back. I've got a few rocks here. that I've just picked up from random places. Some of them came from our landscaping in the backyard. I always like to keep a collection of rocks handy. I use in landscape, some of more of the pinging landscape designs, or I just use them to stabilize the new cuttings. Start out, we'll get some soil in here. Got it maybe a third to halfway. You can see that there. I did put some wire on this when I first potted it, just to bring this side branch down a little bit because it was pointing straight up in the air. But I kind of like just spreading some of these roots out. There's not a whole lot there to work with, but spread them out the best I can. I kind of like this for the front of the tree. Trunk's got a nice movement on it. Not sure what I'm going to do with these branches yet. I kind of like this one to be more of a back branch. Probably get rid of this one, but I don't know. I may let it grow out. We'll just have to see. But I can tell that this one's going to be a little top heavy, so we'll see how it holds up in the pot. You can tell I'm just tapping the soil down. Use a little bit of pressure because what the vibration actually causes it to settle in around the roots too. Kind of the same thing the chopsticks do. And some of the bigger ones, I actually have a small rubber mallet that I'll hit the side of the pot just to help settle everything in, along with using the chopstick. I think it's going to stay, but it's kind of wobbly, so I think this one's pretty heavy, so we'll set that on that side. Doesn't fit. Set this one over there. And then we may have to see if we can position this one over here just to hold those up a little bit until it gets established. Again, I think we'll just take some of these shoots down. It's really not too stable here. I'll get it trimmed up and then I'll reposition it. Take some of that down. Like I said, here I'm just taking some of these back to take the weight off the top and just to start that ramification thickening process. And once it gets a little more established, I don't want to shake it up too much. I'll probably put a little bit more wire on that. Actually, I may do that today. Because what I would like is for the tree to, since we determined this is the front, I'd like the tree to lean, have a little forward lean to it. So I may try to get some wire on here, some additional wire, and maybe bend that forward you can see that, and maybe bring this branch down a little bit, but I don't know if I've got a thick enough wire to do that. I'd probably have to hit it a couple times. I'll put some on there and see what we can do. Got this longer piece here we may use. I don't know if I need one that quite that long. Cut that off a little bit. I'll stick this down in the soil. Trying to follow the wire that's already on there the best I can. It's kind of hard because this tree's not too stable yet. Guess I could have wired it before I potted it. That is another option. Okay. Got some wire on there. We'll see if we can get a little bend without breaking it. Got a little bit of bend. Yeah, I think that'll work. Straighten this back up to the top a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll work for initial. Now this one kind of stood up a little bit, so we'll bend him back down. Yeah, I think that'll work. You can see now, looking at from the side, it's got a little bit of a forward lean, which to me looks a little better, a little more pleasing. That it's not falling away from you. This back branch, it's kind of going to the side now, but I think I might put a little bit of wire on that just to train it out towards the back. Yeah, I think I will. Got a little length off. Don't need a lot of real heavy wire for this one, so I'll just get a little piece here. anchor it down here. Nothing super fancy. At this stage, I'm not too concerned about how the wire looks. This isn't going into a show anytime soon. My main concern is just to get it on there and get the job done, which is reposition the branch. Still follow, the main wire principles. You don't want to coil it like a spring. You want the angle of the wire to be about 45 up to 55 degrees or so. You don't want it a real tight coil like a spring. You want to elongate it a little bit. It just helps bend the branch. And so that's how it is. With the wire on there, I can manipulate it, bend it back. So it's more of a back branch, but still gives us some depth and kind of fills in that negative space there. So I'm going to leave it a little long because I would like it to thicken up some. Still not sure what I'm going to do with this one, if I'm going to leave that to use in the design or just stop it and let the back branch kind of be my first back / side branch heading out that way, and then have this be a side branch up here and then on up to the top. Not sure yet, but I think for today we'll leave that there, and pretty happy with it, at least for a start. I do like the movement that it's got already. So I'll give you a quick spin around on this one. There's the front, left side, back, right side, and back to the front. And as I did that, I noticed I'd like this to come a little bit farther forward, but I'm also hearing the branch making some creaks. So I think we'll leave it there for today and not risk it. Let that set, and then I'll bend it a little more in the future. But pretty happy with the way that one turned out. So I think no time, 6 months, a year, that'll fill out and be a nice little tree already. So all right, I think that'll do it. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.